lot of money to look the part. Took a lot of pain to tame a heart. Took a lot of years to lose my fear of flying. Took a long time to finally stop, and it took a good day to fall apart. Took a lot of tears to lose my fear of crying, of crying. Change your holiday. Fire, ticking like a time bomb. Fire, burning like a neighbor. Fire, waiting at the survive. Change your holiday. Took one look to find your mark, and it took a rogue wave to blow apart. Took a wrong turn to finally find the yearning in the burning. Fire, ticking like a time bomb. Fire, burning like a neighbor. Fire, waiting at the crossroads. How will you survive? Fire, ticking like a time bomb. Fire, burning like a neighbor. Fire, waiting at the crossroads. How will you survive? Change your holiday. Ticking like a time bomb. Fire, burning like a neighbor. Fire, waiting at the crossroads. How will you survive? Fire, ticking like a time bomb. Fire, burning like a neighbor. Fire, waiting at the crossroads. How will you survive? Change your holiday.
Check, check, check. All right, there we go. I think it's working now. What's going on, guys? Happy Wednesday. As you can already tell from the title of this stream, I'm going to be doing a mission here in the free C130. I just picked it up, I don't know, 2 days ago, and I really enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of something different in DCS. Which is nice. A nice little change there. From doing the normal A10, shooting stuff, taking out targets, that kind of stuff. This time I'm going to be delivering targets or delivering things in DCS. So kind of something a little bit different. If you guys are joining in, please let me know. I've got my chat up so I can actually see you guys, and hopefully we can talk about some cool things with the C130 and maybe kind of the future of where DCS is going. Kind of maybe my thoughts on what I think would be really cool to see in DCS I'm going to turn on my fan real quick. Hopefully that doesn't mess with the microphone too much, but it is a little toasty. But I'm going to be posting a picture on my Instagram story later, kind of my setup that I'm running with the C130. And that'll kind of tie into some things I talk about later with the actual C130. That's the third party module that's coming to DCS. It will be a payware module, but some of the things that have already been talked about in other videos from Airplane Simulation Company, they're the ones that are building the C130 module for DCS. So it'll kind of be kind of cool, maybe to go over some of that stuff and see some of the things that they're bringing, and some things they're not bringing. I'm not going to go too much in depth on their mod, just because for the most part it's already been talked about, and there's already a couple of videos about it. So I'm not really going to go too much into that, but I am going to go over this freeware mod that we have right now. It does work with the current version of DCS, which is like 2.8 something, I don't know, but as of December 14th it still works. So if there's an update that comes out after this and it doesn't work, then I don't know what to say, because the developers for this mod have already said they're not doing any updates to it, and I believe that's because most of the people working on this, or the person, Anubis, I think was his name, he is working on the payware module that's coming out. So that'll be really good, really cool to see some different things happening in DCS. So I'm going to go kind of the startup of the C130, and I'll show you guys where we're at. So we're here at Incirlik, and we're basically just going to be flying down here to, I'm going to butcher this name, Akrotiri. I don't really know how to say that, but it's a actual UK base here at Cyprus. So it'll be kind of cool, and we're going over here to this section here, and I've got a flight plan made, which I can go over that here in just a little bit. But basically we're going to take off and then head to Eagle, which is here, and then we're going to fly direct to Rudder, and then we're going to hit the LCA VOR there, and then we're going to basically fly straight along the coast, fly over the VOR, enter the downwind, and then come into land. So pretty simple, but this will give us some time to talk about some stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and get the plane started, and then we can go from there. We do have some stuff already loaded here. So let's see, what is it? I think it's one of these. Yeah. So we got some, we're kind of cramped in here, but we've got some stuff loaded in here. We'll have the chief turn on the ground power.
Chief, turn on the ground power.
Copy. Ground power is now on.
Alright, so there's a way in here to go and look at your CG, but I think your plane has to be fully started before it'll recognize this. I'm not 100% sure. I have seen it like while I'm flying. I've seen it like actually do things. It actually shows like a little X of where your CG is. But I think we're fine. So hopefully our load master did a good enough job. Alright, so we'll get the plane started. We're going to turn on our APU. let that get going. Wait till that gets to 100 and then we can start powering everything else on. Go ahead and close our windows. And in the mission editor, I added the waypoints so you can see them on the map. Rudder, LCA, and then fly over the VOR, and then left downwind. So it's a bigger overview. There you go. And the cool thing about it, if you're doing the mission editor, it all shows up on the FMS. So, or I guess it's called the CNMIU, something like that. It's like comms, navigation, something unit. Again, I'm not an expert. So we can go APU on. We'll turn that to APU. Everything looks good. APU starting up. So we can get our left engine started. Let's go. We can go ahead and close our doors here. And we'll have the guy in the back close the rear doors. Oh, I gotta have the, let's see, where is it? Oh, here it is. There's the pump. Pump's rising, so that'll be good. Alright, so I got an engine start there. Make our way to number 2. It's starting. Our fuel pump, or hydraulic pump, not fuel pump, is in a good spot. Close our doors. Oh, whoops. Alright. And we can turn that off. Alright, let's get engine number 3 started. When that light goes out, we can start number 4. There we go. Start number 4. Cool. There we go. And number 4 is starting. Morning, Mike. It should be a fun flight. There's a little bit of clouds. I think we're going to fly up to 15,000. Let's get the HUD down. We're going to fly at 15,000. Should be pretty simple flight. There we go. All right, we can get our taxi lights on. And we got all our doors off. I'm going to show you guys the FMS, or the, I'm just going to call it FMS, but disregard me. Let's see here. So, you guys can't see that. So we can change the radio frequencies here. If I go nav, so there's our first waypoint, second waypoint, third waypoint, fourth, and then to the airport. So it's kind of cool they all show up there. And I think Incirlik is 360.1.
Uzi, 1-1. Request startup.
We didn't do startup, but we already did startup.
Uzi 1-1.
Cleared for startup.
Cool. Alright, so we're ready to taxi now.
Uzi 1-1. Request taxi to runway. Uzi 1-1. Clear to taxi to runway 5.
Taxi to runway 5. Alright, so runway 5 is down here. Wait, where did I just go? There we go. Alright, so we'll taxi down here to runway 5, take off, make right traffic, and then go direct to Eagle.
Hey, what are you doing?
Oh, that's right, I forgot. Electrical power's on.
Chief, turn off the ground power.
Copy.
Also, we can turn off the APU now.
Ground power is now off.
Cool. Alright, let's start taxiing.
Flaps. Flaps.
That's weird. You have to hold quite a bit of right rudder as you're taxiing, I guess, because these engines. I mean, it makes sense, but. Yep, so this isn't a full fidelity mod. There's a lot of things that you can't do as far as like the buttons and switches and everything. And I expect the payware mod that's coming out will be a full deal, but this is still a really good aircraft so far. I've messed with the autopilot some, did some landings out in the desert, and it does pretty well. There's no damage models, so if you do crash, I don't really think you'll know it, but because I've had some pretty hard landings in this thing when I was first testing it out. But it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. There's some more C130s. Getting closer. I think there's a lot of potential for logistics and things like that. When it comes to DCS, like some of the biggest issues is, I think, and again, it is a combat simulator, so that's been the focus, is combat. But I think there's other pieces to that that DCS could really improve on. One of those is obviously, you know, the top things that's always talked about is ATC, and another thing is the ground aspect, the combined arms aspect. You know, that was kind of released as a contract, I think, for either the Army or the Marines. I'm not really sure which one, but I read somewhere that it was a contract, and basically they were like, you know, we'll just bring it over to DCS, and they did. And although the functionality of it's great, I think, you know, being able to use the binoculars, if you've used the JTAC mode, basically, but You can use binoculars, you can set laser codes, you can laze targets, you can get ranges, and you can even fire tanks and guns and all that kind of stuff, which is really cool. But I think there's a lot more that the community maybe wanted, and maybe it's just not there. I don't know. That on the forums and stuff, you see a lot of people asking like, "Hey, when are we going to get an update to combined arms?" And basically, it's been said that they're not going to update any more of it. Which, I mean, I get it. There's got to be a monetary reason to. I mean, it's got to be worth their time and effort to do that. So that makes sense. But I think there's a lot that could be done. I don't know necessarily what that is, what that a lot is, but I think there's a lot of things that could be added to DCS. Like me and Mike were talking. Oh, I don't know, Mike, when was that? A couple days ago, we were talking about. It's a lot of fun to do the support roles sometimes, but there's really no way to do that other than like the Huey or maybe the MI8, maybe the Hind as well, because it can carry troops, but there's no like fixed wing way to really provide support like logistically or anything like that. So I think when the C130 comes out, it'll be really really useful. Right, let's request takeoff.
Uzi 1-1, request takeoff.
May not be close enough. Forget, you gotta be like right on it. Let's try it now.
Uzi 1-1, request takeoff. Uzi 1-1, request takeoff.
Uzi 1-1. You are cleared for takeoff when ready. Climb 300 at QFE 29.76.
Yep, exactly, Mike. Alright, so we got everything set. Oh, I didn't get my landing lights. So let's do that real quick. Alright, everything else is ready. Let's get our autopilot ready to go. And okay, our heading is set. We don't have autopilot on yet. So here we go. Home brakes powering up. Okay. Takeoff power set. Gear up. What is that? Field elevation here. Oh, that's good. Alright, we're at 1,500 feet. Start our downwind. Oh yeah, that sunrise is pretty, huh? It's funny. Alright, takeoff power turned off. Alright, so now we can set our, gotta turn autopilot on. And there we go. So now we're heading right towards Eagles. We're going to climb up to 1,500 feet, or 15,000 feet rather. And we're heading straight for Eagle. That's pretty cool. I had to put the landing lights away. Alright, so let's look here. There we are, heading right for Eagle. Then when we get to Eagle, it should make a left turn straight to rudder. Got a nice little cloud layer there. Oh yeah, there's that turn. And above 10,000 feet, we'll adjust our speed. We can go climb up a little higher. A little faster rate, I guess. So I don't really know what to start talking about first. I guess we could talk about the payware, or the freeware mod first. Mike, how's the audio sounding? Is the plane too loud? I can turn down DCS's volume if I need to. Ah, all right, man. That's cool. We'll catch you later, man. See ya. So audio's good. Your mic seems a bit low. Other than that, it's good. Okay, I can turn my mic up a little bit, I think. See you, man. See if I can adjust this at all. Alright, that may be a little bit better. Alright, so we got 600 feet to go, and then we'll be leveling off. The freeware mod, is pretty capable. If you look at the loadout, when you're like in the mission planner, you can actually put like Humvees, tanks, SAM sites. You can do all kinds of stuff. You can load weapons, bombs, missiles, crates like I have in this one. And you can have 3 different slots. And each one of them, from what I read, affects the CG of the aircraft. So let's see. Let's go back here to this. It doesn't show it. That's fine. Oh, goodness. It does have multi-crew, but it kind of takes some configuration beforehand. So you have to put in your friend's IP address, and I think that's it. I think you should put in their IP address beforehand, and then when you load up, they can select the plane as well. But I haven't messed with that at all, honestly. But that kind of might be something I'd like to do. There is multiple seats, like I just showed you. So there's a co-pilot seat. And then there's Loadmaster, Cargo, and then this is the gunner seat, but the gunner seat doesn't work right now. But there are some videos that the Grim Reapers did showing like if you land and then your what you have as your loadout, if you offload it in the loadout, like the rearming, let's see here, I can't pull it up while I'm flying, but if you go like the loadout thing like you would if you're trying to load bombs or something like that onto your jet, and you offload it, then what was on your plane becomes a part of that airfield. So that's one way you can do it without any scripting, without CTLD or anything like that. It's kind of already built into the game, so that's a pretty cool feature. As far as the plane, there's really not a whole lot else you could do with it. I think you can have like fuel tanks, and I think you could even put rockets and stuff on the wings. But I've not messed around with any of that. I've literally just done a few logistics trips, and it works out great. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of cool to see DCS in kind of a different way, instead of just always looking for targets or something like that, just traveling from one place to another, which I get it. You can do that in Flight Sim 2020 or X-Plane or P3D or something like that, but to be in DCS world environment, and to kind of have that, I don't know, like that DCS feel to it is a lot of fun. I did this last night in like a sunset scenario, and the sun was going down, and landing here at the base I'm going to was I mean, I don't think I've seen a flight sim do that. Even like Microsoft Flight Sim 2020, even though it's beautiful and all the things, like coming into land was just, I don't know, something different. I don't know how it'll be with the daylight now, but it might be kind of cool. Alright, so let's move over to the actual like payware C130. I think it's going to be pretty neat to see something like that in DCS, to have like, you know, something that you can do besides shooting, actually like helping that front-landed troop, and especially if you have a dynamic campaign where let's see here, like a dynamic campaign where you know, if you have like a group of friends that can, you know, join into a campaign that saves itself over time, and you know, say there's a FARP or something like that that's forward deployed, and they run out of ammo for the helicopters. Well, now you've got a C130 that can take crates of ammo out to that FARP, drop it, you know, do an airdrop, and then now that FARP is replenished, so the guys that are flying the helicopters can continue their missions and that kind of stuff. Or even like forward deploying troops, you can drop troops out of it. Yeah, first meeting canceled. That's awesome. Well, welcome back to the stream. I'm still just ranting about the C130. Um, but I think, if you had like the capability to take not only troops but like ammo and fuel and that kind of stuff to different bases. I know like Tbilisi in Georgia on the Georgia map is probably one that's been kind of beat to death, but it'd be really neat to say that's like a hub and a forward deployed base is Kataisi. If you were to take fuel from Tbilisi to Kataisi, some people might enjoy that. I know I probably would. I would like to do something like that, where you're taking fuel or even troops or Humvees or tanks or SAM sites or something like that from one base to the next. It kind of drive the mission or the campaign along. I think that'd be really cool. Another thing that would be cool to see, and I know a lot of people have asked for it, is the AC-130. Airplane simulation companies already come out and said they're not bringing the AC-130, quote unquote, yet. Sorry, yet. So if they have enough people that are gonna buy the module, then they've considered it. And I think it would be really cool to see that because, again, a lot of people in DCS, that's the reason why they're there, is because they want to shoot things and make things go boom. So having the AC-130, I think, is going to be a huge plus in sales, but I think that also comes down to the financial part of it. Is it worth the team to put in all the effort to create and do all the research and development for an AC-130 in DCS when, are they going to have a lot of people buy it? What's a good price for it? Is it just an add-on to the C130 if you already bought it? Like, there's a lot of things that go into that. I think having the C130 come to DCS opens up a lot of doors for other aircraft type when it comes to like military as a whole, because when you start opening up logistics, okay, now you've got bigger aircraft, more multi-engine aircraft. Could you bring in like an MC-12 or a U-28 or a Tu-22 bomber, or could you bring in some of like the quote-unquote red air type aircraft with Russian AWACS or US AWACS? Could you bring those in? And I understand a lot of that stuff is classified, and so that's why it probably won't be brought to the game. But I think there's still a way that you could bring some of it in some respect, because with an AWACS, you could take, two people, have it multi-crew, have one person flying, one person being the radar worker, giving out the brawl calls. And of course, we have that with LOT ATC, but I think if you had it in an actual aircraft, and honestly, who's to say you couldn't do that with a C-130 with some scripting, right? You could set up an orbit and have LOT ATC, have one of the people in the aircraft run LOT ATC. Yeah, Mike, that's an excellent point. I was actually thinking about that, and I messed around with it, and I found out that you can actually break DCS if you start a mission in Georgia, and because there's a trigger in the triggers list that says load mission. And so what I did was I started in Georgia, took off from Tbilisi, and then once you get to a certain waypoint, it would change over to the Syria map because Georgia borders Turkey. So my thought was, as you take off from Georgia, you fly south. When you get far enough south, it loads up Syria, and you fly to Incirlik or something to I don't know, just add a cool mission like that. And DCS did not like it. I took off from Tbilisi, got over to where the load mission is, and DCS just closed out and didn't like it at all. So, yes, that's a great point. To have the ability to go from, it's cool to go from Incirlik to where that base is. Would we say what's that one in like the far southeast side, H3 or something like that. To fly that, you're looking at like 2 hours worth of flying if you had SAM sites in Damascus and you actually, built up the scenario, having to overfly SAM sites and have close air support and seed and all those things. Like, that's a lot. That's a lot of work on the system, and it's a lot of flying time for someone who does this as a hobby. Now, if you had an all-day sortie and like talking about the dynamic campaigns, you could have an all-day campaign on a server where, okay, logistics takes things out. They set up a FARP. They drop out they do an airdrop. It drops out all the stuff, and then in 20 minutes a FARP's built. Just say. And then, okay, well, the C130 guys could only fly from, 8 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock. So for 1 hour, they did one trip, drop that out. Well, then later, helicopter guys are like, yep, we're going to forward deploy, so they take off and go set up at the FARP. Well, they drop JTACs, they drop all the things. JTACs move out, set up their positions, and then the air guys take off, the F-18s, the A-10s, the F-16s, everybody else takes off, and they go out and they run these missions. And it kind of brings everything to a whole picture. But it would be really neat to have larger maps. I think it's kind of a stretch to have like Nevada be a part of it, because I guess technically you could, right? If it's something as simple as load a mission from one to the next, then you could do technically take off from Nellis, have C-130s take off from Nellis and depart and go east, and then once they get so far east, the screen blacks out and it loads the next mission, and you load up and you're on the far west side of the Syria map, and you're en route to Incirlik. That might be something kind of cool. I don't know. It opens up a lot of doors, I think, for DCS in the future. With aircraft, some people were saying, like, why don't Eagle Dynamics make some civilian aircraft to have a different aspect to it? And I don't know, I kind of go back and forth, because I think if you break it up, there's the DCS players and there's the flight sim players, like DCS is a flight sim, but you know what I'm saying, like the flight simulator X-plane guys, and then you have the DCS guys. And I think what you run into with combining both of them is you have you bring a lot of people from different communities into one, and DCS just isn't there yet. I think there's a lot of things like with ATC that is wanted from the GA flight sim guys, and I'll be one of those. I look for the departure clearance, the taxi, takeoff, departure, approach, all those things. Yeah, then you have the Christian Eagle guys, which want to go out and just do flips and all the crazy things, which that's super cool. Like the aerobatics part of DCS is really neat. That's like such a cool community, because you have the Thunderbirds, the Blue Angels, the who are the other ones? You have basically every aerobatic team is shown here in DCS. Like you have the Brazilian Tucanos, they have a group. The MB339s out of, I think it's Italy, right? I'm not really familiar with all the aerobatics teams, but you have them all shown, which is really neat, I think. Let me do something real quick. There we go. So this is a cool little menu, real quick. I'm going to change the subject, but you can have this show, and it actually shows like your distance to rudder and your bearing. So we're that's not right. Oh, okay, I see it. So it's 6:37:18, and we'll get to our destination, or to this waypoint at 6:44. Does that sound right? Yeah, I guess so. Um, but yeah, and like there's even come about some freeware mods from the Crescent Eagle. So like you have the extra 300, and there was one other one I think. I can't remember exactly, but that's really cool to see the peninsula there. Or is that a peninsula still? If it's part of an island, I don't know. I think it is. We can go ahead and start descending, I think, and get down below some of these clouds. So to do that, you kind of have to do it kind of manually. So let's just go down to 9,000 feet. So what I'm going to do is turn autopilot off, and then pitch down. And then autopilot on, select, oh no. What have we done? Oh, there we go, that's what it was. So you have to just turn off VS, and then turn it back on, and it goes. You're gonna pull the throttles back a little bit, fly right into a cloud, no big deal. But yeah, so I think, there's things that people want in DCS, and I think it all comes down to the money aspect. But, talking about the Crescent Eagle and the extra 300, I feel like people are trying to make DCS into more of a flight sim based game rather than solely combat, because you have all those aerobatic teams, you have all those things, and let's see. There we go. I was like, why are we turning? But you have like all these things, and I think DCS is in a good spot where they're starting to be more open. It seems like in the last, I don't know, 6 months, 7 months, they've added a lot more third-party devs, and I think the reason for that is they're starting to realize that the community wants more out of DCS, which isn't a bad thing at all. I think, with the A4 that came out, that brought a lot of attention to the devs, because it was a community-based mod that just got really, really good, and a lot of people started using it, and they're like, okay, well, maybe we, and this is just me talking, this isn't official DCS, but I think they were like, okay, maybe we do need to start opening it up a little bit more and make the growth of DCS go. Because since then, there's been so many more mods. I feel like, mods are constantly being released. There's the OV10 mod. There's the A29 mod, which is one of my favorites. There's this mod, the C130 mod. There's a whole group of aircraft that have been dropped, and I don't know, I'm interested to see what's going to happen in the future with DCS. I think it's going to be really cool. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents worth. I've probably rambled longer than I should have, but I think it's going to be interesting to see some of the things that come out. New maps with Afghanistan coming out. That's going to be a really cool one. I don't know of any other maps that have been talked about. Oh, well, there's the one from Orbix that's coming out. The one that's like northern part of the northern part of, like, I don't know, where's that, Norway and all that area up there. Blackhawk, yeah, definitely. Oh, the Blackhawks are a really good one. I have that mod, and it's a really good one too. There's a lot of people that fly that in some multiplayer servers. And again, like, why I figured that would have been dropped before. What's the one? Isn't there a company that's developing that one though? Now that I think about it, or am I wrong? Maybe I was thinking of the Apache. I mean, I know the Apache's out already, but I thought there was a company that was making the Blackhawk. I don't know, maybe. But yeah, like things like that. That's a really cool mod. If Mike, have you messed with that one? Do you have it? Alright, we're going to be turning here pretty soon. We've got 6 miles until we turn to Lima Charlie Alpha VOR. And then at that point, we'll be... Let's see, 35 miles out, so we could start a descent. Okay, so flying it is a lot of fun. It feels like a mod. I mean, you can definitely tell a mod from an actual payware module, but it flies still really good. Like that was probably I messed around with the Huey a little bit, tried to learn how to fly it, and it was good. But here's our turn. That's pretty neat. That's really cool. What was I talking about? Oh, the Blackhawk mod. It's a lot of fun. I messed around with it on the Georgia map a little bit, and just take off from one airport, fly out to a random place, and try to land. And it was really cool. That's a fun one. I would like to see some more helicopters. I know the OH-58's coming, and then is that the only one? I think that's the only one that's been announced so far. It'd be kind of cool to see the KA-52, the Alligator, like an attack helicopter. Just something to go against the Apache, but I don't know that we'll see that. Some of the Russian aircraft is really difficult to get a hold of. Let's see, I don't know. Well, it kind of looks better. I did see a video drop this morning from Eagle Dynamics about the KA-50, and the new cockpit that they're bringing that looks really good. I was really surprised. I wasn't expecting. Of course, I haven't really followed the. That's weird. Oh, autopilot. Okay, I thought it said APU. I was like, the APU's not on. I haven't really followed much on the Black Shark, just because, I mean, I have it. I've flown it. I don't know, I think I've got all of 11 minutes in it if I look on my logbook, but I think I have all of 11 minutes, and it's a fun aircraft. I just like the multi-crew aspect of planes. I don't know, that's why the L-39 I think was so interesting to me, because you could have a pilot in the front seat and co-pilot / instructor / weapons guy in the back. I've done some recon missions before in the L-39. That was a lot of fun, where we set up, we had a group send us their missions, and we basically went out and flew them. And the guy in the back, the guy in the back was looking out the window and taking pictures And then we went back to Google Earth, or not Google Earth, but Google Docs, and created like a Google Doc of the quote unquote intel that we got, and sent it to the group, and then they used it in their mission briefings. So that was kind of cool. That was kind of a cool thing to see. But I mean, there's a lot you can do with DCS that's not implemented in the game, which is a really neat aspect of it. But it'd be really cool if they implemented it, you know? Like have ISR things. That's another thing too that I think would be really cool to bring to DCS is the UAVs. You know, again, a lot of it's probably classified, and it is classified, but I think people aren't looking for necessarily all the in-depth things. Like, okay, with the A10, that's different. Like, people want the full experience, right? F-16 want the full experience. I would say even with the C130, I want the full experience, me talking personally. With the UAVs, like, having a general idea of what they do, like, I don't need to know all the ins and outs of everything. I just want to go out and look through the targeting pod and find targets in either buddy lays for an A10 or do some like ISR ops, that kind of stuff. And it'd be useful for those that mission make, like the mission makers, is to have, you know, like the mission briefers or whatever, and you could have like video feeds and all that stuff. You know, that goes along with the guys on the ground. You know, if you had a more robust combined arms, and there's an MQ9 or a Yulong 2 or whatever it is, the Chinese version, like if you had those, the combined arms aspect of it would be they could help, you know, find targets from a UAV or something like that. I don't know, just spitballing ideas, but I think that's an interesting part of DCS, you know, because like Arma 3 has UAVs in it, and they could be a pretty big part in the mission. You know, I know what everybody's thinking. Well, you know, if Arma 3 has it, why not just go fly or play Arma 3? Well, because that's what makes DCS so great is the level of fidelity and like the maps and everything else that goes along with it. Arma 3 is great, but it's not. You can't fly like you can in DCS. So I don't know. Again, just rambling. Alright, so we've already passed our waypoint. Let's start our descent. We can go down, let's go down to 5,000. Go autopilot off. BS set nav. Well, that's a pretty good descent rate. Let's go there and there. I don't know, if you're in the chat and you want to chime in, please feel free to do so. I've got my chat up so I can see it. I think it's interesting kind of to hear all the different aspects of where people think DCS is going. There's a lot that they're working on. Let me pull throttle back just a little bit. Kind of zooming. There we go. Something that's cool is going from the ground. Get some flares. It's pretty neat. It does have a missile warning system, which I found that out yesterday. Um, it'll have like an audible tone, and the flares and stuff does work. Oh, hello, street sign. That's pretty neat. What was I saying? I just lost my train of thought. It's neat. Oh yeah, it does have like a missile warning system, and you can go up here. Radar, I think it's... No. It's here. Let's see, overlays. There we go. RWR, and it changes to that. I haven't messed with it a lot, so I should probably do that and find out, like, if you have a missile, SAM site over here to the right, does it actually show it over here? And you can adjust the range. You can go range 5. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know how all that works. There is a digital map, which has, let's see. I don't think this changes anything. Yeah, it doesn't. But all right, we're getting pretty close. So let's start a descent now to pattern altitude. We'll go 2,000 feet. And the airport here is 251.75. See if it works.
Uzi 1-1, inbound.
Oh, it does.
Fly heading 15846. QFE 29.86. Runway 28 to pattern altitude.
Perfect.
Uzi 1-1. Cleared for visual. Contact tower.
Alright, so we'll wait till we turn on the downwind and final and everything like that to contact tower. I'm going to start slowing down. We'll level off here in a second. That'll really help us slow down. And I missed my altitude there. So 1,500 feet should be fine. Should be fine, right? But it's kind of cool. Alright, so we're basically going to go out to the end of this little area, and we'll turn, come into land. Give it some power so it don't stall. Maybe turned a little too sharp there. Alright, landing lights are on. We got the airfield. Let's see if they'll give us a landing clearance. I don't think they will,
Uzi
but
1-1. Request landing.
yeah, I didn't think so. Give us a nice long stretch here for final. Oh, we're a little too far. See if we can overshoot it. Alright, landing gear's coming down. First notch of flaps.
Uzi 1-1. Request landing.
Still not.
Uzi 1-1. Request landing.
Uzi 1-1. Clear to land, runway 28.
Alright, cool. We'll go last notch of flaps. It's cool to see the shadow over there. We're going to roll all the way down to the end of the runway. So I'm not going to be very hot on the brakes. Butter. Some helicopters over there. Yeah, that's pretty smooth, yeah?
Uzi 1-1. Taxi to parking area.
You betcha. So we're going to park right over there in that big spot. This is a maintenance, or not a maintenance, but a cargo area. Come on. Keep going. Keep going. Keep it moving. There we go. Alright, so we can go landing lights off. And we can bring those up. Maybe. Yeah, there we go. And flaps up. Forgot that. Dang, I should have been recording that that landing there. That was smooth. Mike, what you were saying earlier, I'm just looking back at the chat and I think I missed something. The multi-core update for DCS, dude, that's going to be absolutely huge. I can't imagine what all that's going to bring. As far as like, because right now I'm getting. Hang on, we'll look at see what my frames are. Nice. Let's go taxi lights off. Parking brakes on.
Chief, turn on the ground power.
But like my
Ground power is now on.
like right now I'm getting like 70 frames. And I can only imagine what's going to happen when that's gone. Like when we have multi-core. I don't. Okay, so I'm gonna be honest. I don't really know what all that means. I know there's like multiple cores and that kind of stuff. But like from what I understand, it's using a single core right now, and I just know multi-core is going to be way better. So let's get the engine shut off. We can start by this one. That one. So those are coming off. Let's get the doors open. And last, let's get the back end open. There we go. And so now, if you pull this up, I've got these here, and this is all the stuff you can put in there. So there's quite a bit. Right now, I've just got the generic crates, but you can do bombs, you can do rockets, you can do all kinds of vehicles, and depending on which one you select, you can get different things. So like some of these, you can get bigger vehicles and that kind of stuff. Yeah. So pretty interesting. Pretty cool if you ask me. But and then so one of the ways you can offload stuff is by this, or you can also hit the let's see here, which one is it? Well, I say that. I don't know what just happened. I can't do anything now. Well, I was going to show you guys how to drop off the stuff in the back, but now my keyboard is acting up. Oh, there we go. That was weird. Oh, so our CG is like our CG was actually really close. Wow. So I think that's so weird. I think there's something messed up with having. Yeah, I don't like that. I had those set up to a box, like my throttle. I had it set up to like drop them automatically, and I did not like that at all. But I think it's one of these. Yeah. Oh wait, it was this one. So I'm figuring this thing out. Let's airdrop. Well, that didn't release them at all. But there's a way to release them. I don't know how. Ah, there we go. And then they just disappear. And then you do that again. And the base just eats them. But, well, guys, that's all I wanted to show you. I just figured I'd show you guys a little mission that I built. I guess it's not really a mission. It's just a flight plan with an aircraft. But show you guys the Freeware C130. It's a great plane. I enjoy it. The 3 days that I've had it. Apparently it's been out for a while. I just never really messed with it, and I really enjoy it. I'm excited for the Payware C130 that's going to come out. I think it's going to be a great thing for DCS, and the thing is, I think, is if people will actually use it. I think it can be a great mod. I think it can be, or not mod, but a module. I think it can be great, and I think it could actually bring a lot to DCS. The thing is people just have to be able or want to use it in their missions and find that place for it. But I think it's there. I think the capability and the possibilities there. It's just up to the people. So I think that's going to be it for me, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments if you guys have any suggestions or anything you want to add to the discussion. And then don't forget to like and subscribe. I really appreciate all of you guys that do subscribe and that you watch my videos. I'm still learning, still trying this thing out, so I appreciate all your help, and you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you guys next time.